Good afternoon, everybody. Well, on our way kind of into our post-game day today, we need to have a tight turnaround just with everything coming up this week with our trip later in the week and a really tough opponent coming up. But a lot of positives out of the game yesterday. A lot of things that we can all do better. Starts with me, and we'll keep on working to do that. But I do like where our football team's at. Proud of the way we were able to go get a win in the NFC North on the road. And also pretty pleased with the fact we came out relatively in good health and hoping to have IP back this week. So he was close to being able to make it and should progress as the week goes on, but I'll keep you guys posted on that. There's a lot of things to highlight: offense, defense, and special teams, but I'll let you guys fire away.
Sean, are you going to do the same essential structure of your travel to London as you guys did?
Yeah, we'll have our normal workday Wednesday here, and then have a little bit of a different schedule to Thursday, but make sure we get our work in, and then we'll get on the flight in the afternoon sometime and arrive Friday morning.
Kevin, the number of takeaways through 4 games is up for you guys.
Yeah.
A bit. Has that been an emphasis, or is that just guys making plays or the structure of the defense? What do you attribute that to?
No, I think, and rightly so, much was made out of us protecting the football better than we did, especially early on in the season last year. I think we've seen some positives from that, from the guys carrying the football. We've had some turnovers here and there, and we'll continue to work on that. And a lot of that, the way I look at that, especially with the interceptions, that we've thrown. I mean, Sam got hit as he was throwing against New York, and then I had two play calls that were questionable at best, in my opinion. On his other 2 interceptions, kind of in that fringe red area. So for the most part, I think we've done a nice job winning the turnover battle, or at least attempting to break even. We know what that stat looks like when we do that. But there was an equal emphasis been put on taking the football away and really maximizing kind of some new elements to the scheme that Flo and his staff brought forward, some new personnel, and we've been able to see that show up with some takeaways. And I think the 4th down stops, too, is not going to be necessarily showing up in that stat sheet. But I think there was 2 more yesterday that were critical and kind of serve as a pseudo takeaway, whether it's field position or a red zone 4th down stop.
How much of that is a result of getting veteran players in like Rouge Hill that kind of reads a rough combination there yesterday and peels off of that?
Yeah, the Ginkle, the Van Ginkel interception versus the Giants, Shaq making a play on a ball. Kamu is a great example, but really off the tip ball against the Texans, and then yesterday being right there to make that play. I think you're definitely onto something. I think it goes back to smart football players that we brought in, that Flo and his staff are doing a great job using those guys within the scheme, pairing them with the guys that we already feel going into the year we felt really good about, and their fit year 2. How do we find the best possible fits to walk in day 1 and have an impact? And I've been really pleased with a lot of that stuff.
When you watch the second half, how much of some of the Packers' pressures defensively was just like new stuff you guys hadn't seen, and what kind of made some of what they were doing so?
Yeah, they did a nice job kind of going to some, not necessarily even on 3rd downs, and that's where I think we've got to avoid some of the self-inflicted. I mean, I can think back to, we had a 1st and 10 run for 5, and then we jump off sides when we had a pretty good look for the play that was called, and end up 2nd and 10, complete it for 9, and then don't get the 1st down on 3rd and short. Short yardage wasn't good enough yesterday. But yeah, just stuff like that. And then, when you get into, maybe you don't have the positive play on 1st down, now in those, known passing situations, defenses can activate some things based upon what personnel I put in the game, which kind of led us to maybe have the success we did when we needed it in the 4th quarter, kind of seeing some of that inventory and kind of adapting on the fly there. But they made some good adjustments, and credit them for that. And then I think there were some execution things, either footwork, timing of understanding we can maybe beat some of those plays with the football by just taking the exact right footwork and putting the ball in play to a, number one being open. But once again, that's, there's going to be some plays throughout a game, especially when you've had the kind of success that we had kind of sequentially in the first half there, that they made some adjustments, and we've got to do the same, and would have liked to score more. And I think we stayed aggressive. We tried to keep our foot on the gas there a little bit, and that could have contributed to some of the the turnovers there in the second half. But at the same time, I got total trust in our guys to go out and execute and adjust with us on the fly, coaching staff and players, communication on the sideline, and get into the things that we think will have the best chance to have success.
Hey, Kevin, do you think, has there any been decision made on TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Reiser, and those guys? Yeah,
we're working through that right now, based upon the unique aspect of this week and then leading right into the bye week. We'll have some dialogue and try to do what's best for both those guys to, be in their best positions to maximize that window. And when they're available to us, they're going to be available. I'm excited about both those guys. They've been working really hard behind the scenes, and both TJ and Dalton are here, for the plan that we kind of set upon at the end of training camp, knowing right about the time we'd get them back, it would be a nice boost for our team. So want to give them the ample amount of practice time, because it's one thing to just open a window, but what does that practice look like? And that may be this week. It may not, but we'll kind of keep you guys posted as we come to a decision on those.
I haven't asked about Gabe Murphy either, just where's he at?
Yeah, Gabe's on a little bit different of a timetable probably than those other two guys, but he's progressing along for sure, and I'll try to give you guys an update when I know a little bit more about that one.
Kevin, it's one thing to say you're going to stay ready, take mental reps, but the way Jordan just kind of seamlessly stepped in and played so well yesterday, on point with Sam.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome, and you guys could see the impact he has, and there were some good examples of not only Jordan and Justin on the field at the same time, but Speedy as well, and then BP and Trent both, having some really critical plays in the game that maybe don't always show up on the stat sheet, but guys playing their roles. I feel so good about that room, and having that full room healthy and rolling like they were was really fun to see.
You mentioned, Kevin, postgame in the locker room about everybody learning new stuff every week. What did you learn new yesterday?
I just, I learned that no matter what, football games in the NFL, we've been on the other side of those 60 minutes where we've been able to come back from some big, big deficits before. But I just think this game is, it's a big picture thing, and we all consume the game in these huge plays throughout the game. And when you're on the road and you allow a team either at the end of the half there or, with some of the things we didn't do well, myself included in the second half, you allow not only the team but the momentum, the energy in the stadium to start roaring back. And I was happy with our response to that. A lot of times once that, in the same way it did for us in the first half, starts going the other way, it's kind of hard to get back up on your feet and make some plays there. And really, when you think back, the San Francisco kind of long drive we had to get the field goal, and then yesterday was similar when they were able to cut it to 6. And we make some plays in the past game. We're able to kind of assess, kind of put together some things there quickly to kind of give us the best chance to move the ball with what they were kind of shifting to defensively. And Sam and JJ and, our guys made some big-time plays there to move the ball, flip the field, and get points. And then would have loved to finish it there at the end, but they made a good play. We didn't necessarily get the best execution, kind of a unique look there, calling that play with a lot of confidence we were going to not only get the yard but maybe even score. And they made a play. We didn't, and then they were able to move it pretty quickly and make that game come down to an onside kick, which is not what you want to have to do. But credit Josh Oliver. I gave him a game ball. He was, dealing with what he dealt with throughout the week in a limited capacity. Was maybe the most physical player on the field. Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, some of the best edge players in our league, and some of those plays required him to have to fight the good fight against those guys in some cases without help. Catches the touchdown, and not a guy we talk about a lot, but continues to be a huge part of our offense.
On that drive where they, go ahead.
On the kickoff rule, there's been sort of a diverse approach
Yeah.
amongst 32 teams, and you've kind of been sort of on the touchback side of it. I'm just curious what your thought process has been there and what you see and how you think it best works for your team.
Yeah, I think, I don't know, Kevin, if it's a credit to we have not trailed very often this year. So a lot of times you're thinking, hey, the defense, they've played really well. Last thing you want to do is give up some yardage without those guys on the field. And we happen to have a guy that can kind of put it in the end zone when we want to. Will's doing a great job with that. So I don't know if it's a product of that necessarily or just, kind of our approach to this new play early on in the season. But I'm sure and there's going to be some times either by design or I can think back to us covering, I think we mishit one against the Niners and Debo brought it out and we, had great coverage. And it's just whatever the intent is great, but there's some unknowns that can take place on that play from the type of kick you hit to a team's willingness to bring it out maybe from 5, 6, 7 yards deep. So the coverage has to be, airtight every time. And we've seen some good execution out of our guys there when we have had returns against us. But it'll be a kind of a moving target, changing thing throughout the year, I think.
On that drive where they cut it to 6, I think Aaron had a pretty big blitz pickup on that pass from Sam to Justin. Just what has stood out about his willingness to be physical?
Yeah, that's something he's always been really good at throughout his career. Aaron's one of those guys that no matter what, he's going to meet the moment and make the play, whether it's our screen game execution, whether it's a big run when you need it. His role in the pass game has been pretty critical because I kind of look at Aaron's stat line as I'm looking for that total yardage because he is a impact player in the pass game, and those touches all matter for him. And he's just been phenomenal. Whether he's getting the ball or not, his execution has been really, really good in year one in the system. And even though you're getting a smart, veteran player that's had such an impact in this league, you still always, there's some unknown there of just how seamless that transition will be, and he's made it honestly something I don't even really think about anymore. He's just a major part of our offense and willing to do just about anything and whatever it takes to win, and that's what makes him such a special player.
Kevin,
The
you've been-
league is, 10+ years now doing the London thing. Whether it's you guys having gone a couple times or just talking with other teams, is that getting easier to manage from a logistics standpoint of taking the team over there?
I just know how we handle it. I put a lot of trust in Tyler and Josh and our folks there that just have done a lot of research on it, much more than me. I just trust that they tell me what they think is best, and I kind of put the schedule together hand in hand with that information, and then it's all about the intent of making sure the players know exactly what to expect, what the challenges may be. There's no smoke and mirrors to this. It's a difficult week, but it's a difficult week for both teams with the travel, and the best thing you can do is not try to confuse anybody, not try to trick anybody. Here's what it is, here's how we're going to attack it, and here's why, and our guys always respond to that.
When you say why on that, why there's a process for attacking it the way you do, or why the games are over there at all?
No, here the why of our plan. Yeah, that's much beyond my mental capacity to get into that conversation. I actually love going. I think it's a really, really cool experience, and it's we won a football game there, came back and played a game a week later at US Bank Stadium in 22. We're going to get the bye week this time, and just kind of knowing the way this season would start out, we've had some real challenging opponents, and they're all hard, they're all difficult, this league is full of really good teams, but just how the schedule was laid out, I kind of looked at it like not necessarily in prediction mode, but hey, lay out the challenge. This is what it's going to be. If we play good football, I think we could find ourselves in a pretty good spot. We're here now. How are we going to handle this week? Because as I said it yesterday, the previous 4 weeks mean absolutely nothing for the challenge of the New York Jets this week, which is a great challenge. And between Aaron Rodgers and their defense and just a really good roster, good coaches and tough schemes to go against, we got to have a really good week of prep. It's been kind of our separator here. over the first month is good preparation leading into a lot of confidence to play well.
Kevin, with it being the Jets this week, just how influential was your time, like with Pitt, kind of the behind-the-scenes work that you were doing then to the journey that you've had now as a coach?
Yeah, I look back on a lot of those times where I didn't even really know, hey, should I say something? Should I not? Hey, what do you guys got going on? And building that relationship with Pet was one of the most impactful things that, took place along my football journey, because there was a coach, a really successful defensive coordinator in this league that was willing to have, just a no-name quarterback come in and talk a little football. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from all the coaches that were in New York. I learned a lot from all my coaches in New England as well. But it was unique, just being in the division, having some understanding of an opponent in the division, and having it kind of start out with that of, if you guys have any questions, I'm here, because I think, Mark's doing okay at the quarterback position. I don't think they're going to be tapping or calling my number anytime soon. So I want to try to help the team win. And it kind of morphed and grew from there to more than just about that one particular opponent. And I just started to see, hey, turn on some tape, pair that with the information already, and maybe you can help one play. Maybe you can help one player on that one play have success. And maybe that led into, kind of falling in love with that aspect of it. And now it's just on a little bit bigger scale, but it's relatively still from the same world of trying to impact and help a team win.
You've been talking, even since the summer, about Sam Darnold's accuracy.
Yeah.
That pass that he had to Justin in the corner there, not only a deep ball, but accurate, hitting him in the chest. Sometimes, Jets can make such an acrobatic play that you forget how accurate Sam is.
Yeah.
Is it one of the best that you've seen him throw this year, or what?
Yeah, we talked, it's a good question, because we talked about that a little bit going into the week of, hey, there might be, some times where, and we motioned him on that play, but they were still trying to get their hands on him any way they could, no matter what we were trying to do. You don't want to get too carried away with fast motions and changing because that's all movement, that's all yards. That takes an attrition, of non-competitive. The ball hasn't been snapped yet, and he's already run 30 yards. You got to think about that sometimes. They're much more than just circles on the chalkboard. Hey, we could just do this, but then you stack up all those reps. So I thought that was a huge play in the game. For Sam to, most of the time when there's a safety over the top, that's going to be a true double where really the corner's not even defending that deeper throw. So I thought for Sam on quick game timing to assess that it was more of a quarters look, that he can then still throw the one-on-one. It was going to be contested, but we got to give Justin some ops to do that. Probably need to continue to find ways where we're willing, down and distance-wise, to give him an op, because I don't look at them as 50-50 balls when you're throwing those to Justin Jefferson. And then I thought, we got to cover zero pressure on that 3rd and 12, I think it was, and have not seen a player on a speed out off of those steps cover that much ground. His ability in that moment to know that it's really a 9 to 10 yard completion, but he's going to open up his stride and stretch it out to 12, 13 yards, and Sam's going to throw it the way he did versus an all-out zero pressure was really something. So big moment in the game, and I'm glad we got that one right on the challenge, because it was big-time execution.
Along those lines with Sam, he talked a few weeks ago as well about his accuracy on deep balls that he'd worked with, I think, over time, like even before he got here, he was working.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, when he got here, what was your assessment of his fundamentals and just his mechanics and all that?
Yeah, the mechanics thing, it actually really wasn't a deep ball thing. He's been a pretty talented deep ball thrower his whole career. I think he's become a little bit more solidified in his base, where he's generating a lot of force to kind of effortlessly throw the ball to a lot of areas of the field, where we've really kind of tried to hone in just the discipline of what is the drop on paper. Okay, great, but how can I sequence up my body weight and mechanics to be set to make that throw, but also see coverage from a standpoint of a lot of things in our offense. It's not just throwing the ball to you. It's if I'm throwing the ball to you, Kevin, and a defender takes that away, how efficiently can you then move on to the next eligible that we're normally putting in a place where if that defender in any coverage or that particular coverage takes you away, it's a seamless transition to throw the ball where you don't have to do a whole lot, because the throwing mechanics is just a lot of moving parts that if you can eliminate some of the moving parts to that transition of throwing the ball to different eligibles in a progression, you can have a little bit more consistency. Not to get too far into the weeds, but that's what I look for, is just trying to, how do we coach it in a way, put together plays in ways that eliminate as much of those things as possible so he could just see it and throw it. And he's doing that's what he might be doing as well as anybody in the league right now, is throwing the football. Guys are doing a great job finding some space and separation versus man, and our discipline versus zone has been pretty good as well, and he's hitting them.
What he was saying is that he stopped, like, he used to let go of the ball and watch the ball.
Yeah.
And he tried to stop doing that. I don't know if that was for deep balls or not, but that was kind of the example he gave.
Yeah, I think. No, I think that's accurate. I would let Sam speak to more of that, like as far as that. I just know that I've told him, if I've told him once, I've told him 100 times, you're as talented of a deep ball thrower as I've been around, and I want you to take the ops, and I want you to be confident to pull the trigger. And we try to practice them as much as possible. But as you get into the season, you can't, I'd like to say we get a practice rep of every throw he makes, but that's just not reality. So Sam's making some big time throws, and it's been awesome to see.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.